located at number 92 East Drive, Chamfleur. Every Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. live on The Street 919 FM, where he shows you that healing the body's temple is easier than anyone would have led you to believe.
Grand uprising, my people. Grand uprising. Love in the house, everybody. Love in the house. Grand uprising. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My people, Trinidad and Tobago, it's yet another day. And we should be super, super grateful to be alive. A lot of people didn't wake up this morning. On average, 150,000 people died globally. Globally. Yeah. Yes. All right, sorry about that little delay there. Thank you, Carlos. Love in the house, my brother. Yes, 150,000 people die globally every single day. So you should be grateful that you're alive. This morning I want to touch on a few topics, and I want to talk about the narrative. For those of you who following live, you'll see what's happening. And I was getting some feedback from my folks in Tobago that they wasn't hearing, so I hope you guys are hearing me this morning. If you're not hearing me too good, or you're getting the station cutting in, please indicate to the effect through the WhatsApp. I could talk to Kailos and he'll do his best there. He's always very sharp on that. All right, so let me know what's going on. And if there's anything he can do, then it will be done. If not, you know, sometimes some things are just beyond our control. And that's just the way it is. All right, so let me know if that's happening. So once again, Grand Uprising, my people. Grand Uprising. Want to talk about the narrative of high blood pressure this morning. I would. And I also want to talk about osteosporosis and all the osteosporosis of the skull. A lot of people never heard about that. I want to talk about that as well. And I also want to talk about the how those nerves, when you have osteosporosis of the skull, how those nerves are affected to you're getting lazy eyes and that stuff. So tune in, grab a pen, and take whatever little notes that you can. And trust me, like I always say, my 55 minutes on the platform, if I can impact one single person, my 55 minutes is well worth it. And that's all I need to do. My narrative is just not sitting on a mic on a platform such as this because I want likes. No. I'm not interested in that. I am interested in impacting my human race, my brothers and sisters, in a very, very positive way as it pertains not only to your mental health, but your health physiologically. So once again, Grand Uprising, my people, Grand Uprising Tobago, Grand Uprising Dalaford, the village in which I was brought up. I born in that village, still proud, very proud of it. Been there very recently, only a week and a half ago or so. And always enjoying my village, man, and my people. Whatever I can do, I will do. Maybe I'm moving a little bit slow, but that becomes a sort of necessary evil in order for me to get certain things going in a particular way. And I like to do things proper. One of the things my dad taught me, it's either you do something good or leave it alone. I got a lot of whooping for that, not being able to do things properly. And he whooped me into that. So I would that. So it's his thing is, if you can't do it completely, if you can't do it good, leave it alone. Don't do it at all. And I totally agree with that, because to this day, I just can't stand people who behave in such a way. All right? And then on top of that, follow up and make excuses for it. So, Grand Uprising again. It's a beautiful, beautiful day to be grateful. Don't look at the weather, you know. The weather is necessary, because if you don't have weather like this, you don't appreciate the good ones. There's always a dichotomy. Everything in life has a dichotomy. You're up, you're down, you're in, you're out. It's a crazy, you're sane, it have everything. Life is a dichotomy. Understand how it rolls and roll with it. No complaint. Grow with it. That's the deal. All right? So, blessings again. My Dalaford people. But what's going on this morning, man? Wax Dog and all my people over there, the senior. All is well, all is well, all is well. Snipes, Corporal John, Sergeant McKenna. Good morning to everybody. My brother Jason McPhee, loving the house to you, my brother. Finding you this weekend. I'm going and ram you out this weekend. You watch. I'm going and find you this weekend. Some serious questioning. Mr. Jason McPhee, my brother, man. My brother. Good one, man. Loyal brother. All right, so loving the house, every single body. Good morning to the Coast Guard. Blessed morning to y'all. We need our services. We do and we do and we do, and we should be appreciative of that. Good morning to our regiment, our army. Good morning to you guys. Keep your head on. Loving the house always. Know why I'm saying that? Pay attention to details. I'm very good at pattern recognition. I think I create that. I pay attention to details, and I'm very good at pattern recognition. I make notes every minute, every hour, every single day. That's me. I make mental notes. So loving the house with that. Good morning to our police department. Blessed morning to you. Blessed morning to Commissioner Guevara. The Guevara effect is in effect. I tell you guys, this doesn't mean that Mr. Guevara do not get criticism, because one of my closest partner or friend always make dotish comment about Mr. Johnson. Stop saying dotish. It's not radio worthy. Bad host. Stop it. Who make sometimes his derogatory comments, and I mean, he has a right to his opinion. I have no qualms with that. I just see that brother in a certain light that ain't nobody could convince me anything thereof other than him. He has to show me, which he has not to prove to me, but he has to show me based on what's in the essence of my spirit, that he isn't capable of what I think reside in me that I see reside in him. Let that sink in. So good morning, Mr. Guevara. Blessed morning to you. The Guevara effect is in effect. Talk done. Good morning to the fire department. Good morning, and good morning to all the private security firms, and good morning to all the people who are grateful to be alive. Blessed morning to the entire folks at Trinidad and Tobago. Say again. Okay, give me my commercial there. Give me the one commercial. Run that for me. Hold on a little bit, folks.
Dealing with high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, prostate issues, cancer, PCOS, fibroids, or low testosterone. These conditions do not just show up overnight. They are signs that your body is out of balance. At the healthiest corner on earth, my focus is restoring that balance naturally, using time-tested herbs, personalized wellness plans, and nutritional guidance, helping your body return to homeostasis, the state where healing begins. When your body is in balance, it can protect, repair, and renew itself. You don't have to wait until things get worse. You can take control of your health now. My goal is simple: to prevent chronic disease and support your body's natural ability to heal. Book your free consultation today. Give me a call at 736-3962 or 709-8450. Let's restore balance and prevent what's preventable, because your healing journey starts with one step, and I am here to walk it with you.
Thank you, my brother Kylos. And that well, it's not an interruption, it's just one of the way of doing my things on there. And Kyle is such a sharp dude. He doesn't assume anything, he just want to confirm some certain things, and I love him from that. He's so humble. Mr. Alloy, I tell Kyle, stop it. The more I say stop it is the more he still say Mr. Alloy, good morning. Go, Mr. Alloy. All right, Carlos. You do what you got to do, man. Loving the house, man. Got a lot of respect for you, man. As I always say, you were brought up, not dragged up. So good morning to the security firms, private security firm. All the brothers out there who hustling earnestly, let's do that. And let's stop criticizing one another. And I always urge people, right? It's easy for us to go through all the things we go through because we cuss one another out. We make derogatory comments. We do all these things. We find a way to project. But we will never take a minute to look into our own self and do some shadow work. We never take some time out, just a few seconds, to go internally and see the power that lies within. And not only the power, but the power that is corroded with our fragmented psyche and the things that we would have gone through. Because let me tell you something, folks. Let me just tell you something. We are a multiplicity of what we grew up around. Our community, our teachers, the pastors, the churches we went to. We are a multiplicity of those things. That's what makes up our subconscious mind, our subconscious behavior. And we hold on to those things. And that's the things that are going to lead you astray, because that isn't you. When you become woke, now you become conscious, and now you start reprogramming who you are and who you should be. Well, that could only be done on the inside. Ain't nobody could do that for you, because nobody's coming to save you. No pastor, nobody could do that for you. Let me just repeat that. No pastor, no imam, nobody could do that for you. You got to be woke. They can help you. All those people I just mentioned, they could definitely help you, but they can't do it for you, because without you being woke enough to go on the inside to collapse into that memory of who and what that non-negotiable version of you should be, if you can't do that alone, ain't nobody gonna do it for you. All right, again, let that land. So good morning to all the folks, and good morning, and let's stop projecting and do some shadow work. Go inside and deal with the evil within, because every single madness you see in another people is a denied madness that's in you. Let us be real with ourselves, but that can't happen if you're not woke enough. Let us be real. We need to stop all this nonsense. Right now, you know what's going on in this world? There is a paradigmatic shift. Let me repeat that. What is going on in our world today is a paradigmatic shift and a para-pandemic shift. A lot of people are waking up. We're not taking the nonsense that used to take before. We're not just bowing again. And I wish more people could get the program and understand that and think for ourselves and do what we need to do, because they do everything in this life to distract us from the power that is within. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. The kingdom of God is in you. Let that land. Good morning again. So good morning, Scrappy. My cousin Bai, good morning to you. Hope all is well, man, and you continue to shade under the golden branches of the Creator's love and care. All right? All right, Scrappy, man. Keep standing tall, my brother. I know you got some things going on, whatever, but you're a trained man, so I ain't excusing nothing. Frame, good morning to you, man. And all the veteran soldiers, good morning to you all. Mr. Manet, Officer Manet, good morning to you, my brother. Love in the house. Always stay in contact with me and thing, and that's a beautiful thing. Hope your brother is doing great. I love the fact that you took your brother, bring your brother to me, and you were seeking his interest. You're a good one. Saw a lot of good one out there, but I could say emphatically you're a good one. Love in the house, you, my brother. Keep standing tall. All right, so good morning, Mrs. Spencer. Good morning, my dear. How are you? Mrs. Spencer, how do you do, my dear? Hope all is well. Good morning, and good morning. Good morning, Miss Gettins. How do you do? Hope all is well. Good morning, good morning, Tinel. Beverly, good morning. Good morning, Beverly. And good morning, Miss Nicole Huggins. Blessed morning to you. Miss Yolanda Batson, how do you do? And Angie, good morning. Angie, I saw a missed call from you, but I didn't want to, you know what I mean. I forget to call you back. I don't make excuses. I try not to, okay? I try not to make excuses. But blessed morning, and good morning to all my people. This morning, I want to talk about the narrative of high blood pressure. And I want you guys to listen carefully where I'm going with this particular topic. And the reason I want to bring it up again, I'm always sort of driven by what most people would come to me with and the concerns. And if it resonates and it bothers me when I wake up 2 in the morning to do some reading and some studies and some meditation and some breath work, if it bothers me enough, then I would use that as a topic. It would mean that as I believe all of us minds are together is one mind. It's like an ocean. All of us are there. It's just that, like I said, they work hard to separate us. And because together, if we band together, ain't nobody could control us. That's what they're afraid of. And then it wouldn't have no power. The power would be with us. Then they would have to do what we ask them, because the truth and the fact is, we employ you. We employ the politicians. Let me get that clear. We employ hire, but we don't behave like that's the case. So there should be a mutual respect. A lot of times it doesn't go down that way. But I'm going to leave that right there for now. So I want to talk about the high blood pressure and how woke we should be with that, and the choices that we make continuously along the way that cause us to be in the problems that we are. And let me just say a blessed good morning to Mr. Alexander. Good morning to you, my brother. I think you're doing a good job. Keep it up. People always want to criticize. Always. Mr. Alexander assume a new position. And based on, and listen, this is Mr. Johnson's opinion, and me ain't afraid to expatiate my mental faculties as far as my opinion is concerned, because I have 110% rights to it, right? And I could care less what anybody say. This is a new position that this brother assume. Of course, if he don't make mistakes, he can't learn and he can't get good. Period. But I'm going to leave that right there. I'm going to leave that right there. But this is the world we live in. We live in a world that as soon as you make a mistake, people hammer you. How else can you learn? Life lessons is what it's called. Life lessons. You don't live on a perfect plane. I tell, if you think you want to attain or ascertain perfection, ride out from this one, because this will never offer you that. And for those who are elitist, pompous, pious, and capricious, you need to look into yourself and learn some lessons, because that's not the way it goes. Truly, I wish we can show more empathy to one another. I wish we could. I truly wish that we could. Once again, I digress. So I attack or bring situations to the forefront that resonate with me, especially early in the morning hours when I wake up. And because I got a few calls again over the weekend in reference to high blood pressure, and then I saw a gentleman and his wife came to my office, and both people, the husband, folks, this is, I'm not giving out people thing information here. I'm just giving you reality. The husband was on 3 different type of blood pressure medication, while the wife was on 4. I don't know what kind of craziness that is, and I don't know how and when that blood pressure is going to go on, but I'm talking about this because I know there are a lot of people who are in their position as well and frustrated as hell because they don't know what to do and where to go from there. Well, let me bring some perspective to this whole situation here. Let me bring some solution to the pollution, because a lot of times, like I said, we think we know and we just don't know, and we think we knew and we didn't know that we didn't know, but we still believe that we knew that we think we know. If that makes sense to you, process it. It simply means don't pretend to be something you are not, and not because somebody gives you a particular narrative, not because an educated person gives you a particular narrative, that means it's true. No, that doesn't mean it's true. So I got all these phone calls that caused me to be on this topic this morning. As I said, I don't want to sound too repetitive or too rhetorical, but again, one of my disclaimer for this is that I know my society has a very short memory and a very selective one. My society. That includes me, because I could be biased in my dispensation and I can be biased in the things that I choose to be. So anything that I bring into perspective, I don't leave myself out. I don't leave myself out at all. So that's the drill. Officer Adams, blessed morning to you, my brother. Hope all is well, man. Officer Adams, Mr. Officer Adams are the boss, you know. Countryman. Officer Adams. So, good morning to you, my brother. Blessed morning and blessed morning. So let me go down. Let me see if there's any. Yes, Angie girl. Good morning to you. Well, I know this, Angie, and this is what I'm talking about. And she just said, people take pleasure in doing and hurting things to others. They take pleasure in doing so. It's the truth. That's because the psyche is fragmented. And hurt people hurt people. And again, hurting people hurt people. And hurt people will continue to hurt people if they do not go on the inside. It's that wokeness, we have to make that effort, else we're going to destroy ourselves, and by extension, those that love us. So, the guy brought up the position in my office, he and his wife, and I'm telling you, this is 3 and 4. Remember I just said, wifey, the wifey's on 4 different high blood pressure medication, and the husband is on 3. And one of the big things that came up again is the use of salt. All right, so folks, rock back a little bit and listen to what Mr. Johnson has to say. I oftentimes use the word pontificate, right? But you see, pontificate in itself depends on how it's used, could come across as pompous and dogmatic, because what it's saying is that what I'm talking about, I'm sure of what I'm talking about, and I could be a little bit myopic in my thinking because I believe what I say to you is the truth. So I would still use the word, you just with an open mind, you view what you have to say. Here's the deal. None of these individuals, respectfully, that came to my office ate salt. None of them. And I say this already, and I'm going to say it again. I already given my disclaimer for that before. None of these individuals use salt. So as the husband, very respectfully, how long you stop eating salt, and from this, the advice that you got from your doctors to not eat salt. It's about 5 years now. Ask wifey about the same thing because they cook for one another basically. Don't use salt. I said, okay, 5 years. And you're still on blood pressure medication. So I'm saying, when do you think that advice that you got would kick in? When do you think that's going to happen? Obviously, when a narrative has been pumped and there's this protracted narrative to aim at a particular group of people, vulnerable people, and I'm not saying that this is done out of spite. It's by design. It's by design. But when you believe in certain people and things that they're doing, you believe in that to your detriment. How many times do I say to you folks, your belief is not truth. Your belief has nothing to do with truth. And what you do and choose and your belief that interwoven culturally has absolutely nothing to do with your biochemistry. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite thereof. Because this human body that is imbued with an intelligence is run on nutrition. Period. And that's what keeps us alive. Because the body always knows what's wrong, and wanting to fix the things that are wrong, it can't do it if it doesn't have the raw materials. It can't do it if it doesn't have botanical herbs. It can't do it if it doesn't have the lion's share of essential nutrients, which is minerals. It cannot do it. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 or 3 essential fatty acids. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. And therefore, the physiological makeup and of our biochemistry, based on this innate intelligence that work together, can only be cohesive when nutrients is present in the body, especially micronutrients. But we are not moving that. We behave like our body and our biochemistry is missing a drugs. We act and behave as if it's missing a starting drugs. We need to remove that kind of thinking from our head so that our biochemistry can function the way God and nature intended it to be. So let me go on. Now, I asked the gentleman, you taking blood pressure medication, they stop you from eating salt. Why are you still taking it? And then he looked at me dead in my eyes. Paused for a little bit. He says, boy, I really don't know. And that was an honest answer. I said, here we're going on. The sodium that get blamed for carrying blood pressure up, and I would explain that in a minute, the sodium has nothing to do with the salt that we eat. The sodium comes from the inept, inappropriate, in pro-inflammatory foods that we continue to eat. The highly processed foods. The heterocyclic amines, the acrylamides running up and down in those big fried food area, biting into those nasty fried foods. Me ain't pulling no punches saying that. I just ain't gonna call no name. Eating that nasty food, as soon as you take a bite of that, your body starts to release inflammation and mucus immediately because you don't want to die on you eating that nonsense. It tastes good to your tongue, but I won't say the rest. So you all need to back away from that. So the heterocyclic amines, the acrylamides, the deuterium, the glyphosate, the estrogen, the nitrosamine, and the list goes on and on. That's what your biochemistry has to deal with every single day. Now, here is the point. Herein lies the problem. Now your liver and kidney got to deal with all those nonsense. So we eat these highly processed food that create this inflammation in our body, and the kidney now has to deal with them. And I keep telling folks, the kidney has teeny weeny strainers in it. These are pumps. They're called your nephrons. That's why a man who is a specialist in kidney is a nephrologist. The nephrons, and those nephrons in the pump, let me remind you again, cannot work without salt. Let me repeat myself. The nephrons in the pump can't work without salt. Let that sink in. You want me to give you a cross-reference? Well, let me give you one. I'm going to give you a cross-reference, and I will also preface my cross-reference. When somebody take in home anaphylactic shock to the point they knock out, don't know themselves, and an ambulance come to your house, what is the first thing that they offer? Without looking, I said this already, but I know, as I said, short memory, selective, I got to remind you. Let it land indelibly print in your brains. what happens when they come to your house? Without looking at your medical history, saline. What is saline? 9,000 milligrams of salt. That's in one bag. Because salt does the trick. If you still reviving very, very slow, you get another one. So that's 18,000 milligrams of salt pumping through your body because it vasodilates. It vasomotor. It have the arteries and the capillaries, the blood vessel pumping smoothly so that when they relax, when they collapse, they relax. Vice versa. It does that. The human body starts reviving itself slowly but surely. Nothing else working at that time other than that salt. So the narrative of you not eating salt, think for yourself. Boom. What do you think Lasix is? Lasix is a diuretic. Lasix is patented salt. It's patented salt. So here it is. You are told not to eat salt. And a lot of people, this weekend, honestly, folks, this is, I went to Chase Village to see a very good, a close friend of mine / client. And he not using salt either. All this kind of, that's what I tell you that I got worked up. I wanted to discuss this. And he telling me his ankle is swollen. And he's trying to figure out his ankle swollen and he's not eating salt. Because whatever little salt he thinks he's taking in is causing his ankle to swell. That's the antithesis of the truth. Let me just explain something to you all. When your body do not have salt, it holds the fluid because it knows what's going on. It doesn't want you to die. The brain doesn't care nothing about you. The brain don't care if you are the richest man in the world, where you live geographically, what kind of car you drive, how you think, where you sit politically. What the brain cares nothing about that. The brain is about survival, period. The brain is very primal in its response. And once it gets that signal from the body, it kicks in and knows exactly what it needs to do. So in that case, it holds on to the fluid because you're not giving it. You want hydration, you have to you have to hydrate yourself from a cellular level. The cells has to be hydrated. And how you do that? You put a little bit of salt in the water and you sip it. Now hydration start kicking in. If you drink that water too fast, too soon, you just keep peeing and peeing and peeing. Well, the same holds true. You're not getting no salt. The body knows it can't survive without fluid. It's going to hold on to it. It will. It will hold on to it. And one of the places that is giving you the check engine light and indication thereof that something is wrong is the ankle being swollen. Right? So let me go on. Here it is now. You're eating all these fried foods. Now, I know fried foods is in our cultural ethos. Hear me out. I know that. But why don't you fry your own food home in coconut oil, avocado oil, or ghee fat? Why you don't do that on your own? You're running up and down, doing all kind of dotishness. By stop with the dotish talk again. I don't know. It's just one of the things. I really need to. Bad host, Mr. Johnson. Stop it. Stop it. Running up and down, eating all these craft foods that creating this nonsense and all this thing on your biochemistry. Yes, fried foods is in our cultural ethos, but we can do better than that. Fry it home ourselves, and leave the fried food outlet alone with the nasty, inept, inflammatory foods that causes problem in our biochemistry. I pull no punches saying that. What happens here is that the teeny weeny holes and strainers, the nephrons in the kidney, get clogged up from these foods. So hear me out carefully. They get clogged up. When this happens, of course, as I said, the innate function of the human body is to go into action. What it does, it tries to squeeze the pumps out of the stuff, these residuals, which is usually alpha factor, cytokines, and that stuff that sticks inside of there. So it goes into his action. This mechanism of action kicks in automatically with the innate ability of our biochemistry and pump. When that happens, the kidney releases a chemical called renin. Now, renin goes into the bloodstream and it cruises. Now, the liver has to work. The liver picked that up to process it because the liver knows how dangerous that can be. Well, here's the byproduct of that. When the liver processes that, it comes into angiotensin. Angiotensin sending your blood pressure straight through the roof. In that moment, you could take whatever you want. Ain't no blood pressure coming down. No way, no how, no time soon. Because here what's going to happen. There is an amino acid in our body called homocysteine. Look it up if you want. Homocysteine. Every single one of us has that amino acid in our body. It's omega-6, but it's inflammatory. Well, when all that stuff going on, homocysteine becomes even more inflammatory. What happens with that? It's a double whammy. Now homocysteine start cruising through the blood, your bloodstream. All blood vessels start hiding. And how they hide? They clamp down. Because they do not want to be irritated by this chemical called homocysteine. Homocysteine irritates the endothelium inside of the blood vessel. Think about the smallest needle that you ever saw in your life. That needle, if that hole inside that little fine needle that the smallest needle you see, if that hole has anything that's pitted, it's not smooth enough, the fluid not coming out. Well, that's analogous to the capillaries, which is hundreds of thousands of capillaries inside your body. The same holds true. So that clamps down. When that clamps down, blood pressure gone up. How your blood pressure coming down? It has the mechanism of action. When you take blood pressure like hydrochlorothiazide and that whole group, which after 5 years will give you diabetes. I didn't say that, Mr. Johnson. I didn't say that. That's what the people who make it says. Yeah, that's what they say. After 5 years of using hydrochlorothiazide, that group, for sure you're going to be a diabetic. Process that for a bit. When all that happens, how your blood pressure coming down? Well, here how your blood pressure will come down. Botanical herbs. Shift to a proper diet. Your body missing nutrients. It missing herbs. It missing our ancestral genome. It doesn't miss a narrative that they pumped to us that is 112 years old by John D. Rockefeller, who was a brilliant businessman. Give him that, and yet John D. Rockefeller had 3 or 4 naturopathic doctors. Go and do your research. None of the things he pumped, he was using. He lived 98 years old. Brilliant businessman. And to this day, what he pumps is what we are living by, and we're paying for it daily because we're not woke. Why wasn't he using allopathic medicine? He buy all the pharmacy, he buy up the things in Germany, then he pumps it out, and then he run to a naturopathic doctor, herbalist, practitioner. Well, you think I'm kidding? I don't know what I'm talking about? Look it up. You'll see. To this day, we following that archaic stuff. 112 years old, the same thing being applied across the border. And we want to take that as an indictment to say that supersedes our ancestral teachings genome. We got to be losing our minds. Let me move on to something else. So, folks, the only thing that could bring your blood pressure down is proper dieting and balanced botanical herb that is done synergistically. Can Mr. Johnson help you with that? Absolutely, he can. A guy asked me very recently, and you know, I like when they ask me questions like that. He asked me, he said, but you always talking like if you, like you're a doctor. I said, that's exactly why I could talk like this, because I'm not a doctor. That's exactly why I could talk like this. So you let that sink in. But you know them, they go to the school and whatever, and I wait until he finished talk. I said, you have a car, right? How many cars you own in your life? He said, but I can't remember because I own probably about 5, 6, or 7 cars in my life already. I said, where do you go with your cars? Well, obviously I have to go by a mechanic because I can't fix it myself. I said, tell me one of the mechanics that you went to university to get a certificate to fix the car. Name me one. Only one I want. Only one. And I'm not saying that you couldn't have one that went to school. And I said, name one for me. Couldn't name one. I said, I rest my case, son, brother. Me and I no talk to go on with you, you know. Let's leave that right there. Move on. At the end of the day, this is what happens. Let me move on to the next one. We talk about osteosporosis. Well, osteosporosis we know that it affects the skeleton and all that stuff. Folks, do you know that the human brain has 85 openings? The skull, I mean, I misspoke there. The skull has 85 openings, like holes. These holes are called foramina. foramina. The foramina canal. These holes attach to the brain where nerve now from the brain attached to our faces. If one of the nerve that attached to the eye is affected, you get a lazy eye. I sure you see people with lazy eyes. If one of the nerve attacked where the tongue is, it can affect the way you taste things, or you absolutely losing all the taste. You can't get none of that. I'm just trying to bring the information to you guys, because I don't play with my research. I have my peer-reviewed papers. I have my blind placebo. I have all the meta-analysis. I have all studies. Almost everything that I talk about here. Yes, I do have it. I don't have everything because I don't know everything that what makes me intelligent. I don't, and I would admit that. That's my disclaimer. But the things I'm talking about here, I have all the studies. So here it is. If it affects the face, that can create paralysis. It's called tic douloureux. It's painful. Myalgia. You see, these are the things. And then when these things start happening, obviously the fastest thing for us to do is run to the allopathic reductionistic medicine. It's a nutrient. And one of those nutrients is selenium. You put selenium, and what happens to, there's another one, you get ringing in the ears. You get ringing in the ears, and the ringing in the ears come from inside of the skull. Because of the osteoporosis of the skull, yeah, and I know plenty of people in here about that, the osteoporosis of the skull, the opening becomes a little wider, and the nerve grind against the skull, plus it's grinding against other nerve. You get that ringing in your ears. It's only some selenium and some other synergistic stuff is going to help you. Else you're going to feel like you're going crazy. And you will feel like you're going crazy because drugs, go help you. It ain't going to help you, because all it does is set you up for numbing certain things that are going to make it worse when that wear off. You want to replenish what you lost, because all those things that you experience is because there is a depletion of essential nutrients that build up our biochemistry. And once we understand that, the power belongs to us. We become a better version of who and what we are to be, and our body function the way God and nature intended it to be. So it goes back to homeostasis in vitro, the natural way it should be. I hope some of this information will help you. Let me give you my numbers as follows: 736 3962, 736 3962, or 709 8450. 709 8450. Mr. Johnson offer you a free consultation. Everything that is in our body is linked to nutrition and the body's ability for metallation, which is to refine that raw material into what the body needs. It's not the badgy bush, it's what the badgy becomes. Once it makes its way up your vagus nerve and deal with your hypothalamus and do whatever it needs through your biochemistry, the body knows what it needs. Give it the raw material, it will fix you. The one that created us knew that the body can heal itself. It was designed that way. Else Mr. Johnson wouldn't be here on this mic talking to you like this with such confidence. The body has the ability to heal itself. And every one of us have our shortcomings. Don't feel because I don't have my shortcomings. I have it. Plenty. That's why I could talk like this, because I'm aware of it and I can admit it. Man enough to admit it. I don't walk around like I'm reverent, like some of us, losing our minds. All right, my brother. Makish, morning to you, my bro. Good morning. Scotty, good morning. Blessed morning. Fi Wiki, Fi Wiki. And yeah, my brother Manet, blessed and love in the house. Let me just go down through these things real quick. Blessed morning. Grand Uprising, blessed morning. Angie, and yes. Angie, give me a break. I breathe in. Good morning, good morning. Blessed morning, Mitch. Good morning. Right. Good morning, Seema. Good morning, Rennie. Blessed love. I want to bring in something here. There is a Yeah, sorry about that. There is a pathology that is called interstitial cystitis. I talked about this before, and most of the people that I brought it up with had no idea what I'm talking about or even heard of it before. Interstitial cystitis. Interstitial cystitis, you can look it up. Interstitial cystitis. It behaves like prostrate, but a lot of women suffer with it more than men. So it's sort of like misdiagnosed because the way it is. And if you guys can recall me saying, right, when you go to a doctor's office, for whatever reason, they oftentimes diagnose they diagnose you based on the symptoms. And you cannot get a diagnosis from a symptoms. Like I told you before, that's a clinical picture. A diagnosis is a mechanism. All right? There's a difference. So if it's done correctly, you'll see and understand where I'm going with this stuff. And why I'm saying this is that a lot of men who suffers with prostate issues, we are oftentimes told that we don't know what caused the prostate to be swollen after a certain age, like 45, 50, and that kind of stuff. I have a good idea what caused it to swell. Well, first of all, a man who is dead, prostate can't swell. It can't swell because he's dead. So obviously, if it's swollen, there is a precipitation. And where does that precipitation come? Magically, somewhere, voodoo curse? The precipitation comes from the type of foods that we eat. It's just that simple. Because when it's swollen, it's inflamed. Inflammation and mucus. Well, what causing that? Let's behave ourselves and think for ourselves. It is this type of stuff that we eat. Now, when women are dealing with interstitial cystitis, it's an inflamed pelvis. It behaves. The urine is oftentimes extremely pungent. You can't eat certain foods, and most of the times they can't get rid of that particular stuff. And it's easy to get rid of. So if you think any woman who you think hearing me this morning, interstitial cystitis, give me a call and let's have a conversation. I guarantee you, bring your blood work for me, and I guarantee you I'm going to give you an ease with that. Because Mr. Johnson knows how to apply those herbs synergistically to put your biochemistry to work. Your body going to heal itself. Once you give your immune system the arms and ammunition to go to war for you, it will go to war for you because it's designed that way. That's what happens. It designs that way. Okay, so we need, again, we need to be woke and look for ourselves. And that's a constant irritation for women. Pain like that, improper discharge, pelvic discharge, and all that stuff. Now, based on what I read, there was a book I read, Every Woman. I would like all you together. That's what it's called, Every Woman. And I reading that book when I was about 17, 18 years old. So I read volume 1, 2, and 3. And that book, Every Woman, I learned a lot from it. If you ask me what those books are, I can't tell you. They just disappeared. I have an idea where they went, but I can't say it on the air. But they just disappeared. And they go through this. So, but in that book, it would have explained that the average woman will get at least 90 cups of discharge a year. Well, based on certain stuff, that is not, it only happens because the type of foods that women eat. Reading another book, right, which I can't remember the author's name now. I was doing it, I was reading an audiobook, listening to an audiobook rather, and I lost it. But it based on what that was saying, I totally agree with the author that these things really truly were precipitated by the type of foods that the women were eating and how it was being processed and all that stuff. Absolutely, 100% I believe in that. So I'm saying to you, if you believe you are experiencing those symptoms, give me a buzz. And just remember again that when you're having polycystic ovarian syndrome and fibroids and those stuff, not only because of deprivation of a certain mineral and vitamin, but also it's precipitated by high insulin. Insulin will carry us to our grave. Why it's really important is insulin is the act like the holy and the devil together. If for lack of a better word, I really don't use this because the devil is the people you meet in your lives every day. I'm going to leave that because that is another story for another day. Although my brethren tell me don't talk like that. But I don't talk like that because that will carry me in trouble. So it's the same coin. It's a different side of the same coin. And a coin has three sides. We oftentimes neglect the circumference. That's why people will tell you stories. Hey, it's your truth, my truth, and the truth. Process that. So if you think you're experiencing any of those things, give Mr. Johnson a call, and I can lead you down the herbal way where you can experience better health, feeling happy about yourself, your biochemistry, and feeling good. Like I said, one of the signs is that your urine will be extremely pungent, right? And while some of the discharge may not be, there may not be any scent, it doesn't let you out the woods, all right? But because it comes in different form. But again, okay, yeah. Caller, you're live. Go ahead. Morning.
Happy man.
Blessed morning. Happy Wednesday.
Thank you. How are you?
You too. That has to be Angie. Angie, I can recognize your voice in the dark. Yes, blessed morning. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Barjonat. I will give you a call. So my boy, let me see that. Let me see. I was going to say something, but let me see that. Let me just encapsulate it in this story here. This year, I got 18 people, diabetes gone. Before the year end, I hope to get 2 or 3 more. Can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. So, folks, if you want a little bit of guidance down the road as way of botanical herb, I will guide you through that. I don't claim to know everything, and I don't claim to heal not neither. Hear what I know. When I sit with you, because the best doctor in the room is your own body, when I sit with you and we are able to go there and you can articulate your way and articulate what you're feeling, I can do the process of elimination, and then I can apply my knowledge to your biochemistry, and both of us going to be happy. That much I can guarantee. But don't look me in my eyes and look at me and ask me, Mr. Johnson, so you can guarantee me that these things going to work? Hear what I'm going to tell you. Give me as much money as I ask you for. Give me a piece of stick so I can follow you around and tell you when to eat, and how you should sleep. That I will guarantee you. Other than that, do not ask in precise sideways languages. Don't do that. Follow and be disciplined, because you may be hearing me and not listening to me. So you have to be as disciplined as you ought to be, and then things are going to happen. Right? So if you think you want to live the life that you are living, because obviously the question you would have asked is metallized in this point. You believe you could continue to do whatever you want to do because you're taking the herbs. Pal, no. It now works, sir. Hell no. It will never work that way. The very reason, behaviors and habits that led you to me has to be tweaked. Then the herbs will replenish what you destroyed. The glycocholics of your cell, that little thin memories that destroy your cell, that cause oxidization, all the foods you would have eaten in the past that create oxidization and glycation, all those things need to be replenished. The villi in your stomach that you messed up from eating gluten and all these nasty other foods, those things has to be replenished. And a lot of times, diverticulitis is one of the things that we suffer with. Diverticulitis, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndromes, celiac disease, all of them is the same thing. Just different level of tissue destructions. All those things got to be replenished first before anything. So the idea of you thinking it's going to happen, so no. Let me put it, 90 to 120 days sometimes before anybody can see any type of healing results. But some people don't have that patience because they believe the symptoms is not quite like when you could take a jog and in half an hour you feel awesome. You can feel awesome. It don't work that way with herbs, ladies and gentlemen. My time is almost up. Kyle, signal to your boy there. How much more time, man? Right. So it ain't gonna work that way, my people. It's not going to work that people. You gotta make certain sacrifices. I get my criteria in which I think is gonna work for my people. Number 1, you shift your diet. Number 2, the raw materials, the botanical herb. Number 3, make sure you do some type of exercise. And number 4, please make sure that who or whatever your creator or concept of God is, you pray. Bring those 4 together, you're going to get results. And don't ask me to put it in another order, because that's not gonna, it won't work out well. My response will not be a very nice one, okay? And I will say, if the latter, because a lot of times I get pulled up with that one because I said prayer and whatever last. They don't like the order in which in. And my thing is, if that order upsets you, it means that's what you're doing. So if that's what you're doing, why are you ill? But I'm going to leave that right there. Mr. Johnson thinks for himself, you know. My father, my best friend, although he whooped me plenty, that was my best friend. And I will tell the world, my sibling know this, I never wanted to be like anybody in this life other than like my father. Never, ever, ever. To this day. I got totally messed up when my dad passed away in 2004. I'm going to leave that there this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope the information that I brought to you this morning can be of some help to you, a loved one, or a friend close to you. I hope that it can. Give me a call. My consultation is absolutely free. 736-3962 or 709-8450. I'll do the best I can, the best I know how for you. And with that said, all the folks who believe in me, continue down that road as I ask the Creator every day to lead me to the people who I need and the people who need me. And I'll do the best I can to help anybody that I can. All right? So, blessed morning. Keisha, Miss Hernandez, good morning to you, my dear. Hope all is well with you. I'll see you soon. Good morning, Miss Salandi, and good morning to my nephew. I hope all is well. Yes, and that's the way it is. Kylos, I got a few minutes. So with that said, this is Mr. Johnson, your boy, a.k.a. RG, from where it begin till it ends and begin next Wednesday. Megan.
Of oxygen is absolutely the absence of disease. Most chronic diseases that plague us are not happening to us, but is happening within us. We're literally eating ourselves to death, which means we're not living longer, we're dying longer. Join fitness expert Iwer Johnson, the founder of the healthiest corner on earth, located at number 92 East Drive, Chamflo, every Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. live on the Street 919 FM, where he shows you that healing the body's temple is easier than anyone would have led you to believe.
Are you searching for answers to life's questions? Those things that disturb and concern you the most? Why all the wickedness? Why the suffering in the world? Will it end? Who is responsible? Well, if so, join us right here on The Street 91.9 FM every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. with Brother Samuel Gooding and Roland White, where we open the Bible and find answers to all these things and more. For it is written, man shall not live by bread alone,